once I get a green screen, this will be uncropped, which I could buy very easily. I just don't want to deal with a green screen yet. Anyway. And so, yeah, the players sent a spy that direction, basically. No, Cam, I'm not. Yeah, exactly, Forrest. Sent a spy up here to investigate what was going on. They spotted a stag, a large stag with like a many-pointed set of horns, antlers. Kind of a basically ritually bleeding into the lake. There were a bunch of like jagged daggers sticking out of it, cursed wounds, bleeding black blood down into the lake, and that seemed to be the cause of the corruption. So the player characters came up to investigate further, found a lot of ghasts, fought their way through them, and found an armored figure that one of the players recognized. One of the player characters, one of the players and one of the player characters, those two don't match up, recognized this figure leading these ghasts as Chaplain Brining, a fellow who was sent to investigate the rot originally, and apparently didn't have a very good time. Ended up kind of coming this way and kidnapping the guardian, this stag deity that hangs about in these woods, and kind of setting up this ritual. So the players got there, fought him. I don't know, Cam. That's I think you'll just have to live with the suspense. I think. I don't know. Oh, I forgot to turn off the Raiders timer too. It's okay. It's all right. Fine. It's okay. We're a professional streamer. We never make mistakes. The players fought this paladin. It was pretty spicy close, actually. But I think we already talked about all that. We talked about the combat last time. They got through the combat. A couple of people got knocked down. It was kind of close, but they took out Brining, and they were potentially about to execute him. One of the players was about to feed him to their snake, which is not a euphemism. Like actual sea serpent creature. And so we opened on that. Correct. We opened on... Wait, the gas woods. Is this the right woods? No. Wrong woods. Forest, no roads. It's the one that's not named. So, Brining. We opened on them, investigating Brining a little more. He had this, like, stone eye that was lit up blue in one of his sockets. And so they just casually retrieved that from his socket to investigate further. Loki did that. As soon as Loki grabbed it and pulled it out, I had Loki make a wisdom save, and it was right on the line. I was like, okay, we're going to give you a +2. We're going to give you a little bit of a bonus because you are like kind of a master of illusions. It's kind of your whole thing. So we're just going to give you a little extra there. The DC was 35. Loki rolled a like 33 even. So exactly the amount where like the bonus saved her. So I flavored that as like Loki gets affected by this illusion that is like this enchantment on the eye. They see an illusion of all of the greenery around them instead of being this kind of mutated wild overgrowth, this kind of a corrupted forest. They saw it as being kind of this like beautiful, healthy forest, this thriving forest, and there was a shine behind them as they were picking up the eye. This stream of black blood just looked like golden light, basically. And same with the wounds. On the Guardian, there were just these like shining points of light. That was kind of it. Like, the other player characters looked fine. It didn't affect how any of the other their other allies looked, but the ghasts that were with Brining suddenly looked like just regular soldiers wearing the sigil of his mercenary company. So this is what they ascertained, that this is what Brining was seeing the whole time. That he was seeing this kind of more beautified version of what he was doing, and thought he was surrounded by his compatriots from his squadron. And he kind of said as much as they went back and forth as they spoke. Once his eye was... They, like, woke him back up. They waited until he woke up after his eye was removed, and he looked around, and he was immediately like, what happened? This is not what I was seeing. These are not my friends, and this is not what I thought I was doing to this forest. And so they discussed that. The party determined that he wasn't trying to pull a fast one, that he was truly fooled by this, like, this illusion. He said he thought that this lady of life and death that he met across the mountains in the other rot said that he thought she had, like, brought his allies back to life. And thought that he was, like, coming here to basically kind of pay for that exchange, pay for, like, you know, well, basically he was won over by her for having this power in the first place, for reviving his allies, for returning them to him and giving him some, like, purpose. And yeah. He was convinced that she was the inheritor of, like, the role that the Shade of Death left behind when he was sealed away, as well as Dinal, the goddess of life. So the end of that conversation was basically Browning saying, like, okay, she did technically bring them. You're not wrong, Moto. And they are intelligent. They're guests. They have, you know, probably a semblance of their original thoughts and something. Kind of, maybe. But, yeah. So Browning was like, okay, please allow me to take my men and relieve them of their like, now cursed existence. Let me take them into the woods and take care of them. And Worm was like, that's not gonna happen. I'm gonna follow you. Make sure you're not doing anything untoward. Like, not just walking off with them to go do something else bad. Make sure you're not fooling us. But I'll stay respectfully far away. I'm just gonna keep an eye on you. Browning was like, yeah, okay. So they walked into the woods, walked a distance away. Browning kind of touched his holy symbol, called for the mercy of the Shade of Death, and he responded to his call, and all of the guests that had come out of the forest and followed him, grouped around him, just like had the life kind of burned out of them, had their existence ended. And in Browning's mind, they were now at peace. And then he returned with the party to go back to Eden with them, basically, and help them as he could. Kind of like give them what he knew about the rot on the other side of the mountain. They asked him, like, what this lady of life and death looked like, and he was like, look, guys, look, I don't think what I saw is going to be that helpful for you. I don't think what I saw was real, given what the eye did to me otherwise. So, but gave a description of, like, this figure with golden hair veiled in golden light, and kind of described her as beautiful. And then I think that was about it, other than Sonus hopped over to this island. They met up with the Sphinx that they had halfway killed the other session. And then we're like, we'll help treat you if you want to fly back off this island, fly back to my party with me. So Sphinx did that, got healed up a bit. Thanks to the party for kind of rescuing the Guardian, and sort of explained. I don't remember how long the conversation with the Sphinx went. Not very long. I kind of gave the Cliff Notes version. And the party also ran into Iavis on the way back. He was, like, hobbling back towards Eden. It was pretty short, yeah. Iavis was hobbling back towards Eden with the bronze darter that he'd, like, was supposed to bring to Eden in the first place. Found someone else to babysit him, a couple of set of bandits who were, like, kind of disguising themselves as guards for the royal family on their estate. Yeah. Retrieved him from his babysitters, anyway, and joined up with the party. And they all headed back to town. That's pretty much it. It was kind of like a cleanup session and an in-between session. Then we talked a whole lot about, like, what next, kind of the next arc. and just like how long we wanted it to be, what it was gonna look like. Kind of, I don't know how to summarize that discussion exactly, but the thought is we're going to try to make it about as long as the arc that was in Orlane. Down here, kind of the first full arc of adventure. So like probably 6 to. You give your players way too much choice over that sort of thing. What? I don't think so. I think it's too much choice. Your magical realm. Well, like, they just playing it. I mean, that's, you know, yes and no. But, you know, it kind of like, I just wanted to see if they were, like, how long they were interested in being over there. I didn't want to put a bunch of stuff in their way if they just wanted to go deal with the source of the rot and move on. And I was like, there will be, you know, I'm not just going to, like, speed it up for your convenience. There will be, like, in-world repercussions for, like, not dealing with everything going on over there. If you just, like, deal with the source and leave, like, there's still going to be a lot of scars that are in play, and a lot of problems that, like, weren't solved. The source of the rot is one of the players. Dealing with that should happen out of character. Wow. Goodness. Yeah, so the, like, the kind of plan is, like, aside from the town of Goodtill, there's going to be about 3-ish locations for them to go to and deal with things, each taking, like, 2 to 3 sessions, I would say. Sorry, Moto. Yeah, so that's kind of the plan. That leaves me a lot to do. I have a... And tonight I want to try to, like, kind of do the outline, kind of figure out a lot of the key things going on. List out the locations, the kind of key NPCs on both sides. Yeah, so that's kind of what we're gonna look at. We'll get into my answer for the question of the day of how I gotta prepare for these things, which tends to change from arc to arc, but yeah. Yeah, I think that's about it. I don't remember if I hit a flying for the start of this. Oh well. All right, so now we'll move on to the actual prep section.